Well, the Justice Department has ordered federal prosecutors to drop corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams, arguing that the case is interfering with the mayor's ability to aid the president's crackdown on illegal immigration. Last year, the Justice Department brought public corruption charges against Adams. Adams pleaded not guilty, and the case was set to go to trial this spring. Now, several key members of Mayor Adams' inner circle have also been indicted on bribery and conspiracy charges. Joining us now is criminal defense attorney Eric Faddis. Always good to see you, Eric. Thanks for being with us here. Now, as we just said, the reasoning the DOJ gave for dismissing the case is that it would interfere with the work the mayor is doing. That seems like a stretch. Is this normal to see the Justice Department take this type of stance? And what precedent is this going to set for possible cases against powerful officials down the line?
Chris, I've never seen this happen on the federal level, and there's kind of an alarming takeaway, because what it kind of communicates is that if there's a politician who's facing federal charges, Eric Adams was facing multiple felony federal offenses, up to 45 years in prison, but if you kind of fall in line with the boss man and you work to effectuate their agenda, you might be able to commit alleged crimes with impunity. It's awfully concerning.
It seems as though, again, the last couple of months with the cozying up to the new administration, there was always been talk the last few weeks of this potentially leading to a pardon on a day when the administration pardons Rod Blagojevich, and then they give the DOJ drops all these charges. I mean, just the optics of it, just, I guess if you're at home, you're looking at this being like, well, this doesn't sound right if it was me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the concern, right? It's really at the center of it is the principle of the rule of law and the equal application of justice to everybody. You know, kings are not immune from the law. That's why we had a revolution. But these measures seem to cut against those principles. All
right. So what does the president, what does the Department of Justice, what do they get in return here?
Well, you know, there's no written contract or anything, but it seems like the expectation is that Mayor Adams will comply and assist with these federal immigration crackdowns in New York City. And there's kind of an ominous inclusion in the memo that if he doesn't, he could be looking at additional or the return of these criminal charges.
So I guess that's kind of the big issue there, because you've got the governor who's like, OK, this is a sanctuary city, and we will be judicious in how migrants are deported or at least rounded up here in New York. Now you've got the mayor who originally, obviously, it was an open door policy for years with the hotels and with the tens of thousands of migrants that were coming here that were being accommodated. But now it's, I guess the line in the sand has been drawn. If you've got, you know, ICE officials coming in to round up, I mean, where's the mayor stand? What does he do as it relates to how the governor feels, to how the president feels? He's really kind of right in the middle now.
You've got to kind of read between the lines on that one, but it seems to me that there's going to be a big change in New York City with respect to what federal immigration authorities are allowed to do, where they're allowed to go, whom they're allowed to arrest. And it sounds like Mayor Adams, if he wants to keep these charges dismissed, will have to sort of be a yes man for that sort of thing. So
obviously the Southern District needs to sign, the judge needs to sign off on this, the dropping of the charges. It looks as though with the DOJ stepping in, that will probably just be a formality, correct?
That's correct. There's really no legal mechanism by which the judge could force the prosecutor to continue to go forward with those charges. My apprehension is they'll be dismissed promptly.
Now, with this being said, the mayor yesterday got on the air and emphatically denied all wrongdoing and said he is innocent and has always put the city before himself. Everyone in his inner circle has been indicted or left over the last few months, knowing that this was all coming to a head and that the mayor looked as though he was in some trouble. What happens to all of those people now?
It's kind of a strange question, because they're all sort of similarly situated to Mayor Adams in a sense. But now Mayor Adams has what appears to be a criminal immunity, whereas their cases are ongoing. Mayor Adams will not be able to testify in their cases. It could weaken those prosecutions against those other officials. And will they kind of pony up to Trump and try to get some sort of similar favor? It has yet to be seen.
And some of those names we're talking about: the former police commissioner Edward Caban, schools chancellor David Banks, former chief advisor Ingrid Lewis-Martin, just to name a few, all of which stepped away, and some of which have obviously facing indictments. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all does play out. But like I said, the mayor said yesterday, emphatically denying all wrongdoing throughout this entire process, saying that he is innocent. So I guess that will be up for the voters to decide as he now heads for re-election. So, Eric, thank you very much. Great to see you, as always.
My pleasure.
All right. And you can watch the mayor's full address on our website, cbsnewyork.com.